All right, first on the docket, Luigi Mangione speaks. That's right. How does Luigi Mangione speak? He speaks through his attorneys. Well, he's making his first public comments, though, since being arrested and charged in the murder of Brian Thompson. Now, Luigi released a statement Friday on a new website dedicated to his defense. Now, Mr. Mangione says, quote, "I am overwhelmed by and grateful for everyone who has written me to share their stories and express their support. Powerfully, this support has transcended political, racial, and even class divisions as mail has flooded MDC from across the country and around the globe. And while it is impossible for me to reply to most letters, please know that I have read every one that I receive. Thank you. Thank you again for everyone who took the time to write. I look forward to hearing more in the future." Now, obviously, we know he is locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center there in Brooklyn, not exactly Club Med or the Ritz or Four Seasons, anything like that, but he's making do. Anyway, his lawyer says the goal here is to provide answers to frequently asked questions, accurate information about the case, and to dispel misinformation. And the intent is to share factual information regarding the unprecedented multiple prosecutions against him. Now, the website includes some tabs for case updates, attorney bios, statements, frequently asked questions, and of course, that's right, where to donate and various contact information. Now, as we've talked about several times, Mr. Mangione is facing a total of 20 counts in New York, Pennsylvania, as well as the federal courts that include terrorism, stalking, and murder after he allegedly gunned down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside of a hotel in Manhattan. Now, this murder set off a nationwide manhunt that spanned for days until Mangione was ultimately arrested in Pennsylvania. Now, while Mangione faces serious charges, he's garnered support from people who have donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to his legal defense fund. As of February 17th, the fundraiser amount has surpassed $460,000. Now, Mr. Mangione has pled not guilty to all the charges, which carry a maximum sentence of life in prison, as well as the potential death sentence in the federal court. He's next expected to appear in a state court hearing on February 21st. So let's just take a quick stroll, ladies and gentlemen, on the Luigi Mangione website. Yes, you've got the homepage, and he says, hey, due to the extraordinary volume of inquiries and outpouring of support, this site is created to be maintained by Luigi Mangione's New York legal defense team to provide answers to frequently asked questions. We have the case updates. Friday, February 21st, 2:15, People v. Mangione, New York State. Monday, February 24th, Commonwealth versus Mangione, Pennsylvania. Somehow I think he's going to be WebEx on that one. And then March 19th, USA v. Mangione, U.S. Federal Court in New York. Oh, then we got a little bio here on his attorneys. Not really, just says who's representing him. Statements, yes, it puts everything out there that his attorneys have said, that he's aware of the fund and much appreciates it. The transcripts, etc., that they've requested, pretty generic as it relates to that. And frequently asked questions. This is where you get all the hard-hitting stuff. Where is Luigi in custody, for example? Metropolitan Detention Center. Can I send mail and can he respond? So according to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the BOP encourages inmates to write to family, friends, and other community contacts to maintain these ties during incarceration. Written correspondence is classified as either general or special mail, and it even gives his address. So if you really wanted to write Luigi Mangione, you could do so. Are there any restrictions on the mail? Well, yes. According to the BOP policies, if a letter is addressed incorrectly, it will be returned. If a letter is sent without a return address, it will not be delivered. May I send him items like books? Well, due to the overwhelming generosity of members of the public, numerous books have already been mailed to Luigi. He is very appreciative, but kindly asks that people temporarily refrain from sending more books. The number of books he can possess at any given time is limited, and according to the BOP statement, they are limited to 5 books, 1 photo album, 1 scrapbook, and the 25 4x6 photos. The question then begs to be answered. Can you send a picture to Luigi if he so desires? Well, he is allowed to receive photos and free prints in accordance with the mail procedure, but due to the volume of photos, they could take longer than usual to be screened and shared. And obviously, you don't want to send any, risque pictures as well. How can I sign up for official court information? Well, it tells you how you can do that too. Can I send anything else to Luigi other than books, mail, news articles, or photos? No other items can be sent. Where can I contribute to the Luigi Mangione Defense Fund? That's right. Go to Legal Fund, Luigi Mangione. Give until it hurts, ladies and gentlemen. Now, they didn't say that. I said that. All right. And then obviously the question is, does he have a spokesperson? Well, Luigi's attorneys are the only people authorized to speak on his behalf, which makes sense. But you got to be careful because that could be attributed to him as well. Once again, we got the contribute tab here. And obviously, if you'd like to contact, if you have a story you'd like to share, relevant information about the case, or even words of encouragement, please submit it here, ladies and gentlemen. Look, you can send your words of encouragement to them. Maybe I'm going to send one to see if they would like to come on Crime Talk and not talk about the case, but talk about their general defense. Now, obviously, he has several charges in state and federal court, and normally, they usually decide. They, being each jurisdiction, will decide who's going to take the case. Will they defer to the feds? Will the state do it? But here, they got the state and federal court prosecuting the same crime. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, they can do that. Separate, sovereign, governmental entities, they can do that. And obviously, Pennsylvania is the least of Mr. Mangione's concerns. I think somebody's in trouble. That's right. Did the attorneys for Karen Reed do something egregious, outrageous, or do I say cause the judge grave concern? Do I even say possibly use the E word? That's right. Involving ethics? Well, the Superior Court Judge, Beverly Cannon, said Tuesday that she has grave concerns over new information shared by the district attorney that may have profound effect on the future of Karen Reed's murder case. And I don't think she's going to be dismissing it. Anyway, Judge Cannon made the surprise announcement after calling for an unplanned recess in a pretrial motion hearing, which abruptly stopped, sending the defense and the prosecutors home for the day. Well, the Commonwealth provided the court with information that causes her grave concern, she said, and the implication of that information may have profound effects on the defense and defense counsel. So what could we be talking about? Well, the judge said, for that reason, I'm going to suspend today so that we can meet again and address these issues. All affected will be appropriately prepared. So Judge Cannon's call for the recess came immediately after the special prosecutor, Hank Brennan. And what did I tell you about this guy? I'm telling you, he's good. They brought him in just to prosecute Karen Reed, and he's good. I've told you that. Anyway, so Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan said in open court that Reed's defense team communicated with ARCA. Those were the accident reconstruction experts originally hired by the federal government about their testimony before Reed's first trial. Well, you say, what's the big deal? Well, the feds originally hired them. And when it came to trial, the defense made it sound as though this ARCA group had been hired by the feds, and we're just here to tell the truth. We've got no dog in this fight whatsoever. Well, it turned out that the defense attorneys were emailing question and answers back and forth. Oh, and by the way, the defense paid the bill of $23,000 to ARCA. Not exactly what was represented in court. And oh, by the way, when you have experts that are retained by the defense, there's certain things that you have to do. You have to turn over their reports. You have to disclose the fact that they are a defense witness. So where do we go from here? So anyway, the special counsel, Brennan, read from what appeared to be emails between the defense and ARCA and referred to the $23,000 bill that he says ARCA sent to the defense. Now, Brennan called it unfair, imbalanced, and hidden in open court. And Brennan recently filed a motion to block the defense's ARCA witness from testifying in Reed's retrial. And in his motion, Mr. Brennan said both Dr. Wolf and Dr. Rentschler admittedly did not review all pertinent and relevant evidence that exists in this case. And Dr. Daniel Wolf, an accident reconstruction specialist, and Dr. Andrew Reichler, a biomechanical engineer specialist, both testified on behalf of Ms. Reed back in June of 2024. So Tuesday's pre-trial hearing marked the first time since the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts denied Reed's bid to get 2 of the 3 criminal charges she faces in the January 22nd death of her Boston police officer boyfriend dropped. Cannon declared a mistrial back in July of 2024 after finding jurors couldn't reach a unanimous verdict of all 3 charges of a second-degree murder, leaving the scene of a crash as well as manslaughter. Now, Reed is accused of killing her then Boston boyfriend police officer John O'Keefe with her SUV, her Lexus SUV, back on January 29th of 2022, leaving him to die in the snow. Now, the defense has sought to portray Miss Reed as the victim of this entire situation, saying that O'Keefe was actually killed inside the Albert family home and then dragged outside and then left for dead. The retrial was supposed to happen on April 25th. And guess what? Karen Reed gave an interview over the Super Bowl weekend to a local TV affiliate, and she said that she has nothing to hide and that she has been framed for murder. So a little more breaking news in the Karen Reed case is that her defense team has filed for habeas relief in federal court, saying that the Massachusetts Supreme Court got it wrong on the whole double jeopardy argument that they appealed to the Supreme Court on. That was obviously denied. Anticipated it would be. Everybody blew it, and that's that. I don't expect any relief from the federal court for Ms. Reed on that issue either. But here are here's the big issue in the Karen Reed case. First, if the defense didn't disclose that these people were paid experts, there's ethical issues that the attorneys are going to have to face. Remember, the lead attorney for Ms. Reed is admitted pro hoc vice, which means he is from a different jurisdiction, California to be exact, and he got permission to practice there with the assistance of local counsel. I don't know how things are done in LA, but apparently in Massachusetts, you got to turn over stuff under Rule 16. How much you're paying people? Are they retained experts? If not, guess what? This could blow up big time for the defense attorneys. One, the judge could say, I'm revoking your pro hoc vice status. Ms. Reed, have your attorneys prepared to go to trial. Two, she could strike the defense witnesses, the experts, although the defense may need them. And then that gets into maybe some due process issues. So I think the biggest thing would be a sanction against the attorney. That's where I think this is headed. The judge is not pleased. You could see the reaction on her face when she came out and said, this is not good. We're going to come back next week. They're coming back a week from today, actually a week from tomorrow, Wednesday. And so she's not happy. The prosecutor laid it out in those emails, read them out loud, the back and forth exchange, right? And then the fact that, look at this video right here where it says that he, the defense, did not pay these people. They're just here as the great fact finders trying to help the truth come out, when in fact, it turns out they were hired guns. It's going to get interesting.
Goes without saying, but I'm going to ask it anyway. You haven't been paid by the defense?
You have not paid us anything, no.
And you don't work for us?
That's correct.
As a matter of fact, I've never asked you specific questions about your testing before today.
That is correct.
Next, ASAP Rocky, not guilty. That's right. The verdict in the ASAP Rocky assault trial was announced last night, and he was found not guilty. Now, Rocky's partner and mother of his 2 sons, some woman named Rihanna, I guess, was sobbing and gave Rocky's defense attorneys, Joe Tacopina, a big hug. Now, as the jurors exited one by one, Rocky said to them, "Thank you for saving my life." Now, Rocky thanked God and the jury for allowing him to be a free man, telling reporters and fans he was happy to put the legal saga behind him. Now, Rihanna was there by Rocky's side, just as she was in court when he jumped into the gallery to hug her after the verdict was read. And Rihanna did not talk to reporters after some brief comments from Rocky. The couple then made their way to their car as they left. Now, after his client left, the attorney for ASAP ripped the prosecution and its star witness, ASAP Relly, saying Relly, not Rocky, is the real criminal here, claiming Relly perjured himself multiple times during the trial and urging the district attorney to prosecute Relly for perjury. Now, the jury, which took place in L.A., deliberated Tuesday morning after closing arguments were completed Friday afternoon. The rapper was charged with 2 counts of assault with a semi-automatic weapon, and Rocky faced a possible prison sentence of 24 years if he was found guilty. Now, Rocky's real name is Rakeem Mayers, Mayers, and he was arrested back in 2022, accused of firing a gun at the former associate and friend ASAP Relly outside a hotel in Hollywood back in 2021. Rocky turned down a plea deal from prosecutors last month. Obviously, that's a big, scary thing to do. But hey, if you're innocent, you don't take plea deals, right? Anyway, Rocky's defense attorney, Joe Tacopino, maintained his clients could not have shot Mr. Relly, legal name Terrell Efron, because, well, Rocky only carried a prop gun with him at the time. Relly testified his knuckles were scraped by a bullet. Now, Rocky did not testify, though his voice was heard in the court when he yelled at his pal ASAP 12E, that's right, don't say, when prosecutors asked him on the stand what AWGE stands for. AWGE is the name of Rocky's creative agency with Fight Club. Anyway, Rihanna played a background role in the proceedings because jurors were asked whether they've heard of ASAP or this woman named Rihanna, listened to their music, or downloaded any of their songs. A jury of 7 women and 5 men, none of them black, like I said, not guilty. Bryan Kohberger. Some significant rulings that were published late yesterday in the Kohberger matter. First, order on defendant's motion to suppress regarding the arrest warrants, the Pennsylvania warrants, the apartment warrant, and the Idaho warrant search of his person. Order on the defendant's motion to suppress the genetic information. The order for defendant's motion for a Franks hearing, and the order on the defendant's motion to suppress AT&T, Google, USB, Apple, and Amazon searches. That's a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Some of these are rather thick opinions. The Franks hearing opinion is 38 pages in length. The order regarding genetic genealogy search, guess what, is 28 pages in length. The others are a little shorter, but I'm going to hit what I think is going to be the big one. First, the genetic genealogy, and then we will also do as it relates to the motion for a Franks hearing. Those were the important ones. Obviously, genetic genealogy has to do with the DNA that was found at the scene, how they basically found Kohberger as a suspect, and the Franks hearing, that's controlled everything. If the defense had won that motion, basically there would be no case against Bryan Kohberger, and now basically everything is going to come in. So a lot of this is really important, and I could simply say, well, they were all denied and move on and say Bryan Kohberger has had a really bad day, and he may have some really bad days coming up as it relates to a trial. It's interesting. The judge notes that, hey, Bryan Kohberger, I want an expectation of privacy to my DNA on the knife sheath, but I'm not claiming ownership of the knife sheath because they're going to say, I have no idea how my DNA got there. I'm constantly shedding DNA. That could have got there by any way. Could have been transferred by the real killer, that type of thing. But as I've said before, the reason why the defense filed these motions, and these were long shots from the beginning, the case law in other jurisdictions goes against the defense analysis in Idaho. And the court was not going to say, I'm going to suddenly create that. This was done, and I've said this before, these motions were filed for appellate purposes. These were if there is a loss for Bryan Kohberger. So the gist of it is everything got denied. All right. Search warrants, genetic genealogy, no Frank's hearing, nothing. The defense got nothing. All of the search warrants from AT&T, Google, USB, Apple, and Amazon denied. I'll take a closer look at all this and summarize these for tomorrow. But the IgG was the crux of the case. That's what this case came down upon. And other people say, oh, it doesn't matter. DNA's not there. I'm telling you, I've tried cases with DNA. And unless you can explain how your DNA got on that little knife sheath underneath a victim at a quadruple homicide, you've got some explaining to do, ladies and gentlemen. And the court goes into some more details as what was obtained, but not a lot in these other issues, in these other orders. So we'll take a closer look at them.